Sort of winterish day here. We're in Minnesota, so spring and summer kind of comes a little bit later than other places like the South. Um, it's raining. It's about 34 degrees, so I'm hoping it doesn't turn to snow because we're just starting to get rid of all of our snow that we have out here. Um, Everybody's bedded down and happy. We try to keep everybody bedded and out of the mud because we have a great plenty of it right now. Hoping that it dries up a little bit. Everybody can get out of the mud though, which is really, really nice. We do feed in bale rings and kind of rotate that around a specific area to try to start building our pack in the wintertime so that when calving does come and this kind of inclement weather as far as rain comes, um, they have someplace dry to lay. Also, they have two three-sided sheds that they can get into. The big cows, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. The calves like to tuck themselves back in the corners of the three-sided sheds and kind of wait it out. Um, Everybody's doing pretty good today. I'll turn you around and let you see. So this is about what we're doing today. Just kind of chilling, doing our cud, rummaging through some hay. This big girl over here, she's laying down, taking a nap, chewing her cud. The new girl's looking for a spot. This cow is looking super, super round. And then you got this one. She was just laying down a little bit ago, and I'm afraid I got her up. But everybody's doing pretty good. This one has a little bit of something going on dermatitis-wise. We did get her treated. So that's something that you just need to be aware of in your herd and keep an eye on. She had it before she came to us. And this is Libby. Yeah, like I said, she's the calf that really likes to be scratched. She's a sweetheart. She's a Gelvic Red Angus cross. And Gelvics are known to be really docile. And I definitely think that emanates in her, as well as a little bit more of her blondie color. We got these girls over here. They're Red Angus true and true. And they are definitely deeper in color. Except for that girl over there, she's a little bit more on the blonde side, but a little diversity never hurt anybody. This is another Gelvic Red Angus cross, and she's kind of got that blondiness to her too. We kind of nicknamed her Rocket Dog. But when you're on her front end, you don't have nothing to worry about. Don't get behind her, because you'll get kicked for sure. Coda's coming over to get some attention. He's a love bug, really. And so is Prim, of course. She's the puppy of the family. You can never get away from her. Philip. He's a pretty, pretty guy. They call him a painted donkey because of his spots and his blotches of white and black. I don't know if anybody knows this about donkeys, but they have a dorsal stripe on the top that runs from their shoulders back to their tail. They also have one underneath their belly. So they kind of mirror each other. Chickens are trying to stay dry, but they're not doing a very good job today. She's kind of wet. There's Nevada. I haven't mentioned these two, but this is Izzy. We affectionately call her the foghorn. She will definitely let you know when she thinks the bales are getting low or she thinks that she's in need of some attention. She's a pretty big girl too. She's a little bit different as far as donkeys go. She's really stout and really built in the front end. Usually they are a little bit more like Philip, kind of narrow. And then this is Ivy. The one thing that I had mentioned earlier in a previous post is that donkeys, you really like to, if anybody'd really like one, it's definitely an interesting critter, and they do a good job as far as protection goes. That does limit itself, though. I guess I would not put them in with sheep or goats just because they do like to play rough. So they might injure those smaller animals. We found with cattle, they're actually a pretty good combination because they don't really get pushed around. The cattle don't get really pushed around by them. In fact, the cattle do a little bit more pushing around. But the one thing that I did mention is one. I would never recommend getting just one donkey. I would definitely recommend getting two or more, multiple of two. So 3 or 4. They are a very, very social animal. And like I said before, Philip, he really likes the cows. But they don't really bond to other animals as well as they do to their own kind. They are kind of what you might consider a pair animal. So I would never really get one and call it good and hope that they bond with your donkey or your cattle or your horses. They're just not made that way. They're very social in their own hierarchy and their own social structure. They do a far better job as well in a pair or group with deterring others. Things that aren't supposed to live on your property, like coyotes and fox and even feral cats, as far as that goes, and neighbor dogs, those kind of things. They do a lot better job as a pair or more than a pair. They tend to, and then there's our one rogue pony. They do quite a bit better with things. They tend to start forming more of a pack persona, and you can tell with their voice commands to each other that they'll send one donkey out as kind of a scout, and then the rest will stay with the pack or with the herd of animals that you have them with. 1 or 2 scouts, depending really on how many donkeys you have. But these girls and guys, sorry about that. These girls and guys really, they do send out scouts when they think that something is going awry, or somebody is where they shouldn't be, or there's an animal that shouldn't be around. They send a couple of them out for the scouts, you could say, and everybody else kind of stays with the pack and with the herd as a protection detail. So it really does benefit to have more than one, because they can't do that with just one. They can't send out a scout and then have somebody stay back. But they are truly unique little animals, and they're kind of more, for us, they work as a couple different things. I don't know if they work necessarily on your farm, but we truly enjoy them. They are, as my husband calls them, my pasture pups. They're definitely friendly and outgoing, and they definitely have a different personality and kind of seemingly more in your pocket than anything else, which, I mean, if you got a guard dog, it's kind of the same way. But these guys just eat hay. The one thing that I do want to mention with donkeys, however, is they are not set up to eat silage. They are very much kind of like a more forage animal. They will eat grass. They do eat grass out in the pastures with the cows. They do sort of do that same thing that sheep do when you rotationally graze cattle. They'll be out and they'll eat different things that the cattle maybe won't eat. They're grazers, but they're also browsers at the same time. They definitely want to get in there and eat different things. And Philip's gonna eat my coat. What's up, buddy? This is his cue that he wants attention and that I'm not paying good enough attention to him. But they're very gentle. We haven't ever started out with tame donkeys at our house, which you might think is kind of awkward or different. We have tamed everyone that we've gotten. Everybody that we have gotten has been very wild, not halter broke, couldn't pick up their feet, couldn't get them trimmed. And within a matter of a month or 2, they really settle down. And, donkeys are a little bit different as far as, he's going to get me. They're a little bit different as far as, with horses, you work with them every single day. Repetitiveness usually works great with horses. Donkeys are not that way. They are really smart. So when you're working with them, you want to focus on different things daily. So work on something maybe for 15 minutes, 2 days a week, and something else the rest of the time, because they will get bored and then they'll just kind of put their brakes on and say, enough is enough. I'm bored. I don't want to do this anymore. I've learned it. And you might not think that they have, but they definitely have. But you just really need to, pay attention to their body language and their cues. And a lot of their cues are actually a lot more like cattle than horses. They do a lot of swishing their tail when they get upset. They'll stomp one front foot and tell you, all right, enough, or one hind foot. One thing that I've noticed with trimming our donkeys, I do all of our farrier work here. I am a certified farrier. So I do all of our hoof care for our animals that don't have cloven hooves. So like our pigs and cattle, we haven't had to do any hoof work yet, but in the future it's something that we would probably farm out. But as far as donkeys go, they definitely, they definitely have one hind foot that they just are not satisfied with you picking up, which is totally okay. But just know that that tail twitch, that ear flick, that stomp of the foot, it all means different things. It all means something that, maybe is more unique to the donkey than the actual breed itself. But, take the time and figure it out. But as far as that goes, they're a lot more like cattle as far as reading their body language and what's going on with them. Cattle are, they'll do that one stomp of the foot and a swish of the tail and a flicker of the ear and a drop of the head and then lifting it up. It all means different things. Most of it means that they're irritated with, everything that I've described is that they're irritated with the situation and they're not satisfied with what's going on. But that being said, you still do have to put them through their paces. Cattle and donkeys alike. Shoot work with cattle and trimming and whatever else might come up with donkeys. That's just a little background information on them. They aren't hard to take care of by any means, but they do require, hoof care and just the general maintenance like you would do with any of your animals. This nasty cold rainy day doesn't allow a whole lot of things to be shown. It's kind of one of those days where you wish that spring would come a little bit sooner, but the rain is good for the frost coming out, and hopefully we'll have some decent, more consistent, warmer weather coming up. I really appreciate your time and watching our channel. Definitely be sure to hit subscribe and like. I hope that you'll be sticking with us this summer. We've got a lot of projects going on. Building our new weaning pen for our pigs, and then putting up our pasture fencing for our sow and our gilt, as well as putting up some rotational grazing fencing. And we also have a plot of land that we rented. It's about 20 acres to put our beef herd on as we rotationally graze them throughout the summer. Stay tuned for cattle calving, hopefully donkeys foaling, the leaves coming out, and the grass growing. Thanks for your time and have a great day. Bye-bye.